Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 193. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this Asgardian Tuesday evening, Earth date July 16th, 2019. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Get your podcast pants on, because it's about to get dirty in here.
Yeah, get them podcast pants on. Got a fucking rubber boots and go all the way up to your inner thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that energy level? Was that better?
It was all right.
It was all right?
Yeah, it was okay.
Fuck you.
You'll get there.
How are you, Brandon?
I am good.
Thanks for giving me something to work with.
I am good and present.
Well, pleasure to have you here.
No, I'm good. I've had a good week.
Yeah?
I've actually had a real shithole week.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't lie to our listeners, Brandon.
Yeah.
What's been going on that's been hard, Brandon? Tell us about the inner workings of Brandonia.
Well, I lost my insurance.
Yeah?
So I go see my doctor without insurance.
Yeah?
It's $130.
Yeah.
Now, all of this pales in comparison to people who are on diabetic medication and medication that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So I just want to put that in perspective, that I realize that this isn't the end of the world for a lot of people, but for me, it was pretty shitty. So my doctor's $130. Then I go to price my medication, and my medication for the four things that I get is $300.
Right.
So luckily I managed to finagle the system and find some different places where I could get prescriptions cheaper.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting everything for about $30.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Down from $300, it's a huge relief.
That's 100% less.
Yes.
Wait, it's 10%? That's 10% of the
10,000% less.
10% of the price. That's
10% thousands.
Is that what I was looking for? Is that how you math?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, because it was $300 for $30.
Yeah.
So 10%. You're paying 10% of what you would have paid if you were paying retail.
Right.
There we go. Yeah, see, I can math even when I'm tired.
You got it.
It just takes longer.
And then I find out on the weekend that my license has been suspended.
Yeah, okay, so did you find out why the hell that happened?
Yes. Apparently in West Virginia, you have to have insurance on your car or something.
Yeah.
Well, they can do a random check on your car
to
see if you have insurance.
Right, yeah.
And they checked at a point where I didn't have insurance on my car.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because haven't you had insurance for a while?
Yeah, I've had insurance for like a year and a half. So this was a while ago.
That's fucking dumb. I knew that they would do random checks, but I didn't even think, because you've had insurance for a while. I knew that, so.
Yeah, so I got that taken care of. That was another $50.
Stupid.
Which was the last $50 I had. So I'm rocking 42 cents in my bank account until Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
So wait, how did you get Subway?
I had cash. I got cash today at work.
See, I mean, I was opening you up for a real dirty joke, and I have cash.
Yeah, I had $10.
I got $10 from a guy.
Yeah. We get, if somebody comes in and we help them with a problem that's like a 10 or 15 minute solution, it's a $10 quick help.
Yeah.
And we get to keep that $10.
Oh, that's cool.
So I helped somebody today. I got $10 and I used that $10 to buy Subway.
Well, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tip.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
a tip for tips.
Business sanctioned tip.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a neat perk of the job.
Yeah. A bonus, if you will. An on-the-spot bonus.
So trying to throw me under the bus, asking me how I got Subway, you son of a bitch.
Yeah? I mean, you're the one who said you had 42 cents in your bank account.
I do still only have 42 cents in my bank account. I was just
confused.
And that $10 was the last $10. I probably could have used it for gas. Or anything else that I could use money for until the weekend.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, Subway is delicious. So.
I was super hungry, so Subway it is.
That's fair. I mean, I think it was a good decision. We had Arby's today.
Mm.
Yeah. In fact, oh my God, I still have my apple turnover downstairs. Shit. I forgot.
This day just got a lot more awesome.
Podcast over. I'm going to go. I'm going to go eat this. I got Bucky bothering me again. It's like he knows when we're podcasting.
Tell him to leave you alone. Just stop talking to him.
I can't. He's a patron.
That doesn't mean he gets to interrupt the episode.
It does. It does mean that he gets to interrupt the episode by being a $3 patron. And there's his shout out for the week.
Thank you, Bucky, for being a patron.
Yeah.
And for also patronizing Remington in a lot of different ways.
Aha! See, it works two ways.
I listened to a podcast and they talk about their Patreon and they say patronize us. And it always seems weird to me.
Yeah.
It's technically correct, right? Go to our Patreon to patronize us. If you want to patronize us, go to Patreon.
I don't think so. I don't know. Let's look to see if there's any like older version of the word patron.
Like patronize?
Yeah.
We can discover this together, listeners.
Treat in a way that is apparently kind or helpful, but that betrays a feeling of superiority. That's definition number 1. Or frequent a store, theater, restaurant, or other establishment as a customer.
Okay, so patronize does work then.
Yes, it does. It is a correct usage of the verb.
They're pretty intelligent guys, so I kind of figured that they were using it correctly.
Yeah. And, I mean, it didn't seem out of the realm of possibility, but yes, usually it's used to a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now we've all learned something. There's your learning thing for the day. You're learning. I don't have anything smarter to say about learning something in a day. There's your. You're just going to let me fucking swing in the wind, aren't you?
Basically, yeah.
Thanks.
I'm seeing how much of a train wreck this podcast is going to be.
As if you sitting there for 45 minutes while I tried to find stories and wake up wasn't good enough indication for you.
Well, we were expecting to have Chad.
That's true. I was. Apparently you knew that he wasn't coming.
I knew from about an hour before I got off work.
That's fair. That's fair. You gonna ask me what I've done this week?
Nope. So what about you, Remington? What have you done this week? Why are you so sleepy?
I'm so sleepy because this weekend we had the Riverfront Roar in Marietta, which was boat races and such. And it's located right around the hot dog shop. And I think I mentioned it last episode. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Because you talked about the breakfast stuff.
Yeah. So apparently breakfast was a bit of a bust. Didn't do nearly as well as he was hoping. But more importantly, I ended up working 28 hours in a restaurant setting over 3 days, which I feel like anybody who's worked in the restaurant industry knows that can be kind of tough.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours to put in.
Especially for somebody who is not really used to working in the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's a little mom and pop shop, like I was stuck over the fryers for 10 hours and then 8 hours roughly over the past couple of days. And then Monday, both Jamie and I were just dragging our asses. It was just, we accomplished things, but everything we did felt like an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And so today I slept until like 11 o'clock and I got up and I started doing things and I got the podcast for last week published and then I just died. And I was like, man, I don't even want to be alive anymore. So that's where I'm at right now.
You just don't want to be alive anymore?
I drank a Monster when I first got up and it got me through a little bit. And then I drank a 5-hour energy just a little bit ago and it is not helping. All of this energy that you are hearing right now probably sounds forced, and that's because it is.
So this is the best way to record a podcast.
Yeah.
50% of the members not wanting to be here.
Yep. It's not that I don't want to be here. It's that I don't have the energy to be here.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Do you want to just call it then?
No, I don't. We're already started.
We'll just tell one story, then we'll end it.
No, I've got like 12 stories here. I made you sit here for 45 minutes while I was finding stories. And we're going to do them, God damn it, Brandon.
By God. Okay, Dad. I mean, Rem.
No, Dad's fine.
No, please.
Yeah, no, please. Call me Daddy. So give me a story, Brandon. That's the only thing that was important with my week anyway.
Do you want to start with a fuck shit of the week?
Hell yeah, we can start with a fuck shit of the week.
This fuck shit of the week goes out to a group of people. It's not just one person. So this is fuck shits of the week.
Okay.
This is an evangelical group called 1 Million Moms. Have you heard of them before?
1 million moms?
Yeah.
No, I've never
It's like
heard
a
of them
giant
before.
human centipede of moms.
Oh God. Okay. I feel I feel like that's a little inaccurate, but continue.
Yeah, it's an offshoot of the American Family Association,
Okay.
which was created in the, I think, 70s to fight things that are against God and Christianity in movies and TV shows and stuff.
I was going to say to fight monsters, but I guess that's still accurate.
Yeah. They're fighting
Atheists.
atheist monsters.
Yeah.
Secular monsters.
All atheists are monsters. That's what we're saying here.
That's... But I'm an atheist, Remington.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Podcast over.
So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blown and your atheist sharp. Hail Satan.
You say that a lot in the podcast. I don't know if you realize.
Hail Satan?
Yeah.
Well, I like to slip it in there whenever I can. I think I might convert to Satanism.
Yeah?
Would it be weird? I mean, it'd be pretty rough on my dad, who was a pastor.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd probably have a real problem with it. Even if you were just being, I don't know, whatever about it.
No, I would want to become a real Satanist, but like the Church of Satan.
Right.
The kind where they don't actually believe in Satan. They just want to be contrarian against Christian laws.
Yeah, I mean, aren't you that way anyway, being an atheist?
No, not necessarily. I'm not contrarian towards Christian laws. I mean, I think that Christian laws should stay out of our regular laws.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting on like horned helmets and holding vigils with statues of Baphomet.
Yeah.
But I could be.
I mean, you could be.
And that's what I feel like I'm missing out on by not being a Satanist.
I'm just going to buy you one of those little, like, devil outfits with the little cape and the full red spandex with
the tail.
And the tail. But it'll also have the little butt flap, too. I mean, it'll be spot on fucking Looney Tunes up in this.
So, evangelical group 1 Million Moms is boycotting Toy Story 4.
What?
For the inclusion of a lesbian couple dropping off their child at school.
But that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, I know. Apparently you see the couple and it's very, very, very short. You see the couple drop off their kid, and then later on you see the couple pick up their kid from school and they all go in and give a hug together.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not worth the effort to be this way. Like, that's bitching about nothing.
Monica Cole, spokesperson for 1 Million Moms, said in the campaign statement, because they're running a campaign to get Disney to change it, of course.
Of course, yeah.
The scene is subtle in order to desensitize children.
You know what? Go ahead. I approve.
But it is obvious that the child has two mothers and they are parenting together. It was a noticeably small scene with the sole purpose of attempting to normalize this lifestyle. Not to mention there was a brief comment made about not hiding in the closet also in the movie. Some children may not catch this reference, but it was extremely unnecessary, as was the lesbian couple. Disney has decided once again to be politically correct versus providing family-friendly entertainment. Disney should stick to entertaining instead of pushing an agenda and exposing children to controversial topics.
Is that written in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
LB, 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 LB.
That's so stupid. I don't know if I'd call that fuck shit worthy. It's just obnoxious.
Nope, I'm going fuck shit.
Like, well, I know, but that's because you're a crazy liberal.
What does that have to do with anything?
You know, taking it all the way to the one extreme. You got one extreme or the other. You got hating lesbians or loving lesbians and hating people who hate lesbians. That's what this is.
No, it's not the fact that they dislike lesbians.
I'm just picking on you.
Listen, you son of a bitch. It's not the fact that they dislike lesbians. It's the fact that they're going and saying shit like Disney has decided once again to be politically correct versus providing family-friendly entertainment.
Yeah, it's completely horseshit.
Disney should stick to entertaining instead of pushing an agenda.
Yeah. So dumb. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, how do I want to phrase this? The LGBT community, it's not like the stories that we get from ancient Greece when hedonism was like rampant.
Mm-hmm.
This is a full and structured and meaningful lifestyle to millions and millions of people.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, your religion speaks against homosexuality, but that doesn't mean that it's evil. And that doesn't mean it shouldn't be represented.
Right. It doesn't mean that people should cater specifically to you because you find something offensive.
Yeah.
And it goes the opposite way, too. It goes with too much political correctness.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be catered to just because you find something offensive.
Right. Exactly.
Now, if there's a historical reason for something to be offensive, if there's historical reason for something to not be done anymore, then yeah, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But this American Family Association, Sandy Rios, the Family Association's Director of Governmental Affairs, so the head of 1 Million Moms, the head of this entire organization as far as governmental affairs goes, has criticized, quote, powerful Jewish forces behind the ACLU.
Oh, there we go.
And stated that secular Jews often turn out to be the worst enemies of the country. While the American Family Association's president, Tim Wildmon, stated,
God.
Most of the Jews in this country, unfortunately, are far left. So...
Mazel tov.
Yeah, really.
Like, oh my God.
What do you say to that? It's like sitting at a family reunion dinner at my house. And the Jews of the ACLU. All right, Grandpa.
Wow.
So you're not going to give me fuck shit status on this? You're going to contest it?
I mean, when you brought the Jew part in, I'd say, yeah, we can probably escalate it to fuck shit status.
Okay, good.
Like, the bitching about the lesbians in Toy Story is just like, oh my God, eye-rolly. But like when we bring the anti-Semitism in along with it, then it just like compounds it to fuck shittery.
Okay.
So I'll be down with you for that.
Good. So I have a giant fuck shits of the week. An entire organization is the fuck shit of the week.
Yeah. Because that's just it. Like, I've never read the Torah. I don't know if there's anything in there that says anything about not being homosexual. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So
either.
if there are any Jews who are frequent listeners out there, are Hebrews and Shebrews, if you can maybe tell us if there is, for the sole purpose of debunking the whole Jews pushing liberal bias in their things because they have control in Hollywood still or whatever.
I thought the Torah was just a collection of Old Testament books.
Or I think it's just a testament, or I mean a collection of laws, isn't it? I don't remember. See, that's the problem with us not being Jewish.
Yeah.
Or having any Jewish friends who want to talk about their Judaism anyway.
I've just never been exposed
Neither
to
have I.
anybody that's been a practitioner of the Jewish faith, I don't think. Well, that's not true. In one of my college classes, we went to a synagogue.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. There's one here in Parkersburg, actually.
Yes, there is. I do. I knew that.
That's been defaced by swastikas before.
Oh my God. I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
God, you just love West Virginia, don't you?
That's anywhere. We live in racist times.
Stupid. Stupid. The Torah has a range of meanings. It can most specifically mean the first 5 books of the 24 books of the Tanakh, and is usually printed with the rabbinic commentaries. It can mean the continued narrative from the book of Genesis to the end of the Tanakh, and it can even mean the totality of Jewish teaching, culture, and practice, whether derived from biblical texts or later rabbinic writings. Common to all these meanings, Torah consists of the origin of Jewish peoplehood, their call into being by God, their trials and tribulations, and their covenant with their God, which involves following a way of life embodied in a set of moral and religious obligations and civil laws.
So the Torah is like kind of an all-encompassing term?
Yeah, it seems to be, but it's basically like the book of laws.
Oh, okay. So you were right.
Yeah, instruction. Torah is Hebrew for instruction, teaching, or law.
Mm.
So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, these people are dumb.
Agreed.
You can believe in things and still be inclusive. And you can believe that homosexual couples can provide a safe and healthy learning environment for the children that they're raising.
Yeah.
And it's okay for it to be normalized because it's not the like blatant sex parties of the ancient world that we hear so much about that gets referenced, even though I'm sure that's not entirely accurate either.
Yeah.
I mean, what was I just reading about the 300 and how, or the Spartans, you know, how Spartan children, male children, were sent off to training camps when they basically could walk and spent their entire lives surrounded by men and had homosexual relationships with them because that was the only thing that they knew.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was completely accepted and expected.
It was just understood and okay.
Yep. And then by 20 or 30, they were required to take a wife.
20 seems more likely.
Yeah, because 30 they might not have been alive
pretty
anymore.
old for
yeah.
ancient times.
Yeah. But anyway.
That's interesting, though. I didn't know that. Old to be a young, hot Spartan.
Yeah. So not only were you beaten within an inch of your life to be made strong and manly, but you also like to get boned in the A.
Well, and then on the same side of the coin, Remington, as far as political correctness goes.
Oh, no, Brandon.
I know. And we've beaten this horse to death.
Oh, so not only are we following up with more political correct news, but we're beating a dead horse?
No, just the political correctness stuff we've beaten to death, I feel like.
Oh. Yeah, I think we do a pretty good job at avoiding it as much as possible.
Yeah, it just seems like more lately we've kind of gotten into it.
Well, it's ingrained in our social zeitgeist now, so...
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot going on right now.
Whatever.
Scarlett Johansson got in some trouble. If you remember, we talked about it where she was cast as the main actress in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
And she was
I think
white
I actually
and not
saw...
Asian.
Yeah, sorry. I think I actually saw something along this where she said something to the effect of basically she's an actress, and if she gets hired to play, you know, somebody who is of a different whatever, then that's her right as an actress.
You know, as an actor, I should be allowed to play any person or any tree or any animal because that is my job and the requirements of my job. I feel like it's a trend in my business and it needs to happen for various social reasons, yet there are times it does get uncomfortable when it affects the art because I feel art should be more free of restrictions. I think society would be more connected if we just allowed others to have their own feelings and not expect everyone to feel the way we do.
I think it's fairly well phrased.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
The newspaper
I don't disagree
she was
with
in,
her.
Yeah. The newspaper, the magazine or website she was interviewed for, when this was released, she got a lot of backlash because, of course, she did, because the internet's like, well, what about this and what about this?
Yeah.
So she came out and said that that quote was taken out of context.
Oh, yeah.
So she backpedaled. So,
bummer.
yeah.
It's one of those. I'm not going to sit here and say that whitewashing isn't a thing that happens in Hollywood. It certainly is. But I also want to say that as a producer, as the people who are handing out the money to make whatever is going to be made, you are going to want to purchase the services of people who are going to make the story money.
Right.
Like, it's all a money game, you know, from one that she talked about the art of it, and there's certainly an art at play here, but that's the director's side of thing. That's the directors and the editors and the music composition. That's all their thing. And the actors themselves. That's the acting is an art. I 100% think that it's an art.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the money people of it are only concerned about the money of it. They don't give a shit about the art of it. So, I mean, you will constantly hear directors bemoaning the ideas that get shot down by the producers because it was too risky or too this or not enough of that, or, you know, you hear those stories all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the artists have to walk this fine line of being able to tell their story whilst placating the money, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So if they want Scarlett Johansson to be the big face because she's the hot shit in Hollywood for a female lead actress, then that's what happens. To star in a role that should probably be given to an Asian actress, specifically a Japanese actress in the Ghost in the Shell franchise, that's just what's going to happen. because she's the hot shit in Hollywood. You can say, well, there are really famous and popular Japanese actresses or Japanese American actresses. Yeah, but they're not Scarlett Johansson.
They're not going to pull in enough people to go see the movie.
Yeah. I mean,
have we just become jaded bigwigs in our old age?
I don't think so. I think we're more acknowledging our realist side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there comes a time, I feel like, where it's not about giving up the fight to be more inclusive or to, you know, support different groups or whatever, but it's more along the lines of choosing the fight, you know, picking which one is the one to get. Because if you go back through our catalog of podcasts, there have been times where we have bitched about one thing and have turned around 6 or 7 episodes later even, and something that could be similar in the scheme of things, but maybe on the opposite side of the fence, we let slide while we condemned the other episode. That's totally something that has happened.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. And does that make us wrong? Not necessarily.
Probably.
No, it doesn't. What it does is it shows that we have learned. It shows that we have hopefully grown as people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we acknowledge the past of the rights and wrongs of the previous views, that's the important bit. So let's take the acting thing, for instance, and the whitewashing. Have we seen an increase of inclusiveness in Hollywood?
Yes.
Yes. So they're working toward that. Are we still seeing, you know, say white actors getting roles in Asian leads? Yes, we are. Does that mean that it's a proper whitewashing? I don't really think so. I think it's just the powers that be trying to make the money that they can make. I still don't think it's right. I still think that they should at least consider, you know, a properly raced actor or actress for the role.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar bills, and they're going to choose who they're going to choose, and they're going to force that on, you know, whatever director and whatnot that they're going to do. And it's more than just that black and white, too. It's also the ability of the actor or actress to do the role. You know, Scarlett is no stranger to high action roles.
Yeah.
So, okay, there she is. She's a perfect candidate. She's got a smaller frame. She's done action movies, and she's available, and she's a high-paid actress.
It all makes sense to me. I mean, I think that Hollywood, like you said, is being more inclusive.
Yeah.
And it's a slower process. It's slower than a lot of people would like, but it is making its way to being more inclusive.
Yeah. And last week we talked about the Mulan trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing.
You know, and this is a fully Asian cast, it looked like. I didn't see a white guy in the bunch. You know, your standard Caucasian fella or lady or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's more of a period piece, and we're seeing a great representation, at least from the trailer, from what we know about it, of a cultural exploration into the history of a Chinese heroine.
Yeah, and Mulan will probably make a pretty decent amount of money, too.
Yeah. This actually, I saw this while I was looking for stories, and I kind of passed it over, but now that we're talking about it, from the South China Morning Post, I saw Asian movie fans rave on speculation Marvel will cast Chinese actor as a superhero Shang-Chi for big screen. I'll just go through this since we're talking about it. Okay. Chinese movie fans lit up social media when it emerged on Saturday that Marvel Studios may be planning to cast an actor of Chinese heritage for Shang-Chi, its all-Asian superhero film. Hearing Marvel is putting out screen test offers for a group of men in their 20s for its Shang-Chi movie, Marvel have also insisted to reps offering up their clients for the role that they have to be of Chinese ancestry, no other Asian ancestry accepted, says a reporter for Variety, Justin Kroll.
Is this translated from a Chinese website? Is that why it sounds clunky when you're reading it?
I think so. It's written by Laurie Chen, and it's the South China Morning Post. So I don't know if because Google itself didn't translate it. I don't see any indication of that. So it could just be that she's of Chinese descent but writing it in English.
Okay.
But that's supposed to be a quote from a tweet. So if she does her quotes properly, then she didn't really change anything. Production of the movie is expected to begin in January, but Marvel has not announced a date for the big screen debut of its highest profile Asian character. In December, the Deadline Entertainment website reported that Marvel had announced plans to hire Asian and Asian American filmmakers to work on the project for greater cultural authenticity, following the success of 2018's Black Panther with its primarily non-white cast and crew. By Monday, Marvel's first Chinese-American superhero was trending across Weibo, China's Twitter-like service, with 340 million hits as fans discuss who should play the male lead Kung Fu master Shang-Chi. Popular suggestions include the Taiwanese-Canadian heartthrob Eddie Peng and Canadian-Chinese actor Ludi Lin. I'm happy with anyone as long as they are not someone who will only bring in the ratings, one Weibo user wrote, to the approval of 67,000 others. Marvel has a fast-growing and dedicated fan base in China where enthusiasm for its superhero franchise films has not been dampened by the year-long U.S.-China trade war. Its latest blockbuster, Avengers Endgame, became the highest-grossing foreign film of all time on the mainland on its release in April, racking up $614 million in ticket sales to date, according to figures from the movie ticketing app Maoyan Entertainment.
Damn.
Marvel is likely to be eyeing the Chinese film market as a major driver of growth. Actually, we had talked about it when the Warcraft movie came out, that it was massive over in the Asian countries.
Yeah.
Because Blizzard has a huge following in Asia.
Yeah, Asia kind of make or breaks movies anymore.
Yeah, especially the Chinese market.
Right.
Marvel is likely to be eyeing the Chinese film market as a major driver of growth, especially as box office revenues there in 2018 were at a $8.9 billion US dollars, the second biggest in the world, Variety reported. That's 60.9 billion yuan.
Jesus.
This article continues to go on for a few more paragraphs, but I think that I've gone far enough to highlight, it's important to do these things, but it's equally important to realize that Hollywood is trying to be there. I think it's fair for people to acknowledge when a role should have been someone from a different country if it's true to the source matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think we should be flexible if that ends up not being the case.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the problems I see with the left as it goes, is that they're more than happy to point out when something is wrong.
Yeah.
And very loath to point out when something gets something right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Black Panther was huge and was lauded for its all black cast or 99% black cast.
Yeah.
And everything. And Shang-Chi will probably get the same treatment.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's enough little baby steps that are being made that are just completely overlooked while people scream about inclusivity.
Yep, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's my grumpy old man jadedness.
Me too. I've gotten too jaded with politics and everything that I just hear. I'm still a very liberal person.
Yeah.
But I hear some arguments and I'm just like, oh my God, pick your battles. Pick something more important.
Yeah. That's where I've been at for a long time as well, for both sides. It's just everybody yelling about one thing or another and it pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes me mad.
But enough of this talk.
Yeah.
I feel like we go to this well too often. Still.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll clean it up to where it'll listen better, I'm sure. So speaking of Marvel.
Yeah?
Taika Waititi is coming back to direct Thor.
Really?
Yep. Thor number 4.
Thor 4?
Thor 4.
The fourth Thor?
Thor.
That's awesome news. Thor Ragnarok was fantastic. He did a really good job with it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but the bits and pieces that I have seen through like YouTube clips and stuff, it does look like it was a really fun movie.
It was very fun.
Meanwhile, development concerns force Warner Brothers to push back Akira. I guess we'll get into that maybe? Taika Waititi is returning for the many worlds of Thor. Waititi has inked a deal to write and direct a follow-up to his 2017 smash Thor Ragnarok. But his boarding of what would be a fourth installment of the Marvel franchise comes at a cost. Warner Brothers' long gestating adaptation of the Japanese manga Akira. That project, which was penciled for a May 21st, 2021 release and had Waititi testing actors in a worldwide search for talent, is being put on pause indefinitely as the two projects' production dates began to bump against one another.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so Waititi was set to direct Akira, for anybody who didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Script development concerns caused Akira to push back its shooting start, and while some of those have been addressed, say sources, the dates were now too close for comfort. Warner's next step for Akira is unclear. Several sources have said that Warner is keen on keeping Waititi involved for the long term and hopes to see him pick up Akira after Thor 4. Waititi brought his own stamp to the Thor franchise with Ragnarok, infusing the movie with an idiosyncratic wit evident in his previous work like What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People. Audiences responded to the tune of almost $854 million worldwide, while critics rave put the movie at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie also rejuvenated what had been a rare declining franchise performer for Marvel. Chris Hemsworth is expected to reprise his career-defining role as the Asgardian god of thunder. Next up for Waititi is Jojo Rabbit, a unique Nazi-era satire he directed for Fox, which opens October 18th. Scarlett Johansson stars in the picture alongside Waititi, who portrays a boy's imaginary version of Adolf Hitler.
So he's playing an imaginary version of Hitler?
I guess, in a movie that he's directing.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay, so this is completely off subject. I just wanted to throw this out there. While I was working, I saw like a Coast Guard. It was just a couple of people from the Coast Guard that were there, in uniform. And this guy had what was really close to being a Hitler stash. It was really dark. It was really precisely cut. It wasn't just the like straight from the nose, but his face was kind of small, so it kind of looked like it could have been.
Uh-huh.
And it was just kind of weird to see.
Yeah, that facial hairstyle is pretty much no-go anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be a very popular style. It used to be really popular to have that kind of mustache cut. Not so much anymore. But anyway, so what do you think of, are you excited to see Waititi put his brand back onto Thor?
Yeah, the first Thor I wasn't a huge fan of. I never saw Dark World.
Yeah.
But I loved Ragnarok. I thought it was really well done. It was a lot of fun. It was my kind of movie, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if he brings some of that energy back to this next one, I'll be all down for it.
Well, good. Give me something else then, Bo.
Writer Greg Russo, who has written movies before.
Has he?
Yes.
You sure?
Says on Twitter, since it's already been stated by other members of the team, I'm going to put this one to bed. As an aside, he's writing the new Mortal Kombat movie. So that's what this is in relation to. Mortal Kombat will be R-rated, and for the first time ever, fatalities will finally be on the big screen. And no, I'm not going to say which ones. You'll just have to wait for the movie and see. Winky face.
Winky face.
So the new Mortal Kombat movie is going to be rated R as opposed to PG-13, and
As
you're going
well
to
it
see
should be.
fatalities on screen.
Like, I mean, the game itself is so visceral and has been for so many years. The idea of making a movie that's PG-13 is dumb.
Yeah.
With a capital duh.
I'm actually kind of excited for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah?
I don't think it's one I'll see in theaters, but it's definitely one I would see once it came out.
Yeah.
Like on Blu-ray or streaming sites or whatever.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good beat-em-up, terrible movie if handled properly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's going to be R-rated, you get to see all the blood, guts, and gore. And, we've come to a point in cinema where I'm very curious where they will take it. Like, will it be, like, over-the-top gore, like in the game?
It would have to be.
Or will it subdue it for a little bit more realism? Like, I'd be okay to see a more realistic take on the damage done. Still being over the top because obviously you can't literally pull somebody's head off, right?
Right.
But to see a little bit more realistic damage if somebody were able to.
So you would want to see it more realistic than over the top?
Maybe. It depends on how the CG can be taken. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they go for more practical effects and just do, like... Because you can do some pretty gruesome practical effects with blood, guts, and gore.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we've seen that countless times, and I think Chad mentioned it last episode that cinema does well to lean on the more practical effects.
Yeah,
instead of the CG. So
I want to see someone's head get uppercutted off.
yeah,
That's the kind of movie I want to see.
yeah, for sure.
With a guy that pops out and says "Toasty," just
Toasty!
like the game.
Yeah, I have that sounder around here somewhere.
Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema have also hired Greg Russo to write and direct the new Space Invaders movie.
Okay.
Based off of the arcade game.
That seems like a waste of money.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to get Adam Sandler to be in it.
God, I hope not.
How's that for a dated joke?
Are you making a joke about pixels?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure. I thought maybe there was like an Adam Sandler song about Space Invaders.
No.
So when you make a Space Invaders movie, all you have to go on is aliens invading Earth.
Yeah.
That's all that the game is.
Yeah.
So why are you making a movie out of the Space Invaders property?
Because nostalgia, Brandon. Because nostalgia. I'm only interested in seeing that game. That's the one with the like bloop, 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 bloop,
Yeah.
bloop, right? There's a bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, it's got the bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what, because I know better if I sit and think about it for a hot second, but sometimes I get Asteroids and Space Invaders confused.
Asteroids is the one where you're
100%
spinning
honest.
around.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Asteroid is the one where you're
Where you're
centrally
shooting
located.
asteroids.
Yeah, I only want to see the movie if it's 2D and 8 pixels at best.
All right, so get on that, Greg Russo. You heard it here first.
Yep,
That's the only way your movie's going to make any sort of money.
Yep, that's the only way you're going to get the Dueling Ogres money. The billions and billions that we make every year.
Every day.
I've
been skimming money, Remington.
You son of a bitch. Okay. At least we know and we can write it off in taxes.
Okay.
The only way you're going to get that sweet, sweet podcast money.
Is if you do it in 2D.
2D.
No more than 8 bits.
No more than 8 bits. Oh, and everybody's voice has to be run through a MIDI filter.
And when the ships attack, they have to go bloop, 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 bloop.
Bloop, 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 bloop. I like how tickled you are by that. Bloop, 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 bloop.
You were doing it with the hand. It was just, the whole thing was funny.
Brandon, you got the hand and the noise, and it's funny.
I just turned into a baby. I'm like, noises and movement.
Yay! Oh, geez. So apparently GameStop, our favorite place to hate on.
Mm-hmm.
Did we actually out that you worked?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I thought we did.
Maybe we did. I have worked at GameStop in the past.
That's
in
all right.
between jobs at NASA.
So I have a couple little bits about GameStop. One is from Gamasutra or Gamasutra, however you want to say it, and the other is from IGN.com.
Okay.
We'll start off with the Gamasutra one because it's a little shorter. Struggling game and tchotchke retailer GameStop announced a partnership with design firm R/GA today that will see the two working together to develop new designs for GameStop's remaining storefronts. What's interesting here is how GameStop aims to revive customer interest in its physical locations by turning at least some of them into streamlined venues focused on specific aspect of gaming culture like esport tournaments or retro games and consoles. The company didn't specify a timeline, etc. and so on. They go into a few different things. GameStop's fortunes have been failing for some time, causing the company's stock price to hit a 16-year low last month. After a failed attempt to sell the company earlier this year, it appears those in charge are doubling down on GameStop's ongoing investment in esports and the retro gaming business. Of course, for those of you who don't know, ThinkGeek was also owned by GameStop, which is one of the reasons why ThinkGeek is closing their doors.
Yeah.
But to continue with the IGN article, it's no secret that GameStop has had a rough few years financially. They saw a third quarter loss of nearly $500 million last November, even after selling Sprint Mobile for a cool $700 million. Recently, it had to stop searching for a new buyer, with its stock plummeting by over 25% Obviously, something needs to change, and today GameStop announced that its new business-saving strategy is turning stores into unique experiences. The new direction is a partnership with colossal marketing company RGA and revolves around the GameStop's long-held desire to reaffirm its place in video game culture. So this is a quote of the announcement from GameStop. Together, GameStop and RGA are developing and piloting new and streamlined physical store concepts, introducing new ways for gamers to try new titles before they buy them. Read the announcement before going on to say that unique store concepts that offer things like, quote, competitive sessions in homegrown e-leagues to locations that sell strictly retro gaming software and hardware are just some of the ideas that they're going to trial in new concept stores. GameStop wants to create a place to have local video game competitions or somewhere for gamers to sit in front of a decent CRTV as well. Some of those options are pretty hard to come by in most towns, so it's hoping to capitalize on those to find new streams of revenue in a world constantly shifting toward a digital future. So what do you think of this?
GameStop is in a weird spot right now where, like the article said, they have to basically swim or die.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been not swimming for quite a while. GameStop management, from everything I've seen, they're so focused on money that they don't implement their ideas well.
Yeah, it sounds like the powers that be from... Okay, let's do a little full disclosure if we haven't done it before. Brandon worked for GameStop for a while.
Yeah.
And he had to suffer through the trials and tribulations of them constantly changing their service structure, I guess you could call it, on how they wanted you to implement buying and selling used games and how to produce sales for new games and getting people to buy the whatever the fucking card was that they had.
The power-up rewards card.
The power-up rewards card.
It's fucking ridiculous. Whenever you go into GameStop, if you go into GameStop and you get annoyed by the fact that they are trying to sell you 1,000 things, do you want the gameplay protection on your game? Do you want to pre-order anything? Do you want to add this onto your system purchase? Do you want a headset? They have to do that. It's not just like it's suggested. They have to do that or you will get written up and fired.
Yeah.
For not meeting your specific metrics.
Yeah. And you had said one time while we were discussing it that they changed the metrics that you'd need, every month or so.
Yeah.
Where at one time they were pushing new game sales and then they turn around and make you push used games and et cetera and so on. And in a society where more and more people are going to digital purchases, selling old used games is becoming that nostalgia thing for those who like that physical product.
Right.
Because more and more people are just okay with dropping $60 for something that they can't hold.
Mm. Well, and GameStop makes their money from used games.
Right.
The overhead on a new game is like $2. It's something ridiculously small.
Yeah.
But a new game is almost all profit minus what you paid for it.
Right.
But you go into GameStop, like I went in yesterday and I picked up a copy of Divinity Original Sin 2 for the Xbox.
Yeah.
They had it on sale new for $19.99 or pre-owned for $18.99.
And
why wouldn't I just buy new?
Yeah.
For $1 more, I'll buy it new.
I mean, if you're that hard up that you really want that game and $1 makes a difference, then by all means buy the used copy. But if you just don't mind dropping that extra $1 to get a brand new sealed piece of software, on a hardware,
I ended up getting pre-owned because they didn't have new.
Oh, really?
But had they had new, I 100% would have gotten new. Because with that, you get a sealed product, you get whatever maps are inside, whatever booklets come inside, if anything. When you buy pre-owned, you're not guaranteed to get all that stuff.
Yeah, all that shit is either gone or used or whatever.
Yeah, and I buy pre-owned games almost exclusively.
Oh, really?
I do, yeah.
When you're not just buying them, I mean, do you do a lot of? I know you prefer to have a physical copy, but how often do you buy something that's digital?
Maybe like once every month or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus buying a physical copy.
If I can get it physical for the same price or lower than I can digital, I'll go physical every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes there will be sales where a game is on sale digitally for less. And if that's the case, I'll go that route.
Yeah.
I basically go where it's cheaper. And that's why I'm going to miss GameStop if it does leave, is I like their pre-owned sales. I like the buy two, get one free on all pre-owned games, or the 4 for $10 or the 4 for $20 deals that they do.
Yeah. And that's really just moving stock. That's all that is.
Yeah. But instead they're constantly trying, and this was the problem again with GameStop's management, is they're constantly trying these gimmicks. Every couple of months, it's, hey, we're going to try this or we're going to try that. For a while, you had an iPad that you had to use, and you had to be seen with it in your hand anytime you were on the floor.
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to be looking up people's power-up reward information.
Yeah.
Well, then the iPad company pulled out of GameStop.
Right.
So suddenly that didn't matter anymore. But people got fired for not using that iPad.
Yeah.
I knew people who were fired because they didn't use it as much as they were supposed to. And then suddenly the company pulls out and GameStop's like, yeah, don't worry about the iPad anymore.
It's like you just fired people for not using it. Like,
yeah.
Your arbitrary bullshit rules are causing people to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to have a structure that is making you money, and if somebody is not adhering to that structure, then they face disciplinary action. If you're just trying something and then firing people who aren't using it enough, I don't know what the reasoning would be. And like, if they're just being contrary about it and saying, I just don't want to use it, well, then that's kind of your job.
Yeah, exactly.
You're supposed to be. But if you're using it as much as you can be, when you're not, stocking stuff and whatever. I mean, if you're out there restocking something on the floor, you can't be carrying an iPad at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're getting fired for that, then that's a problem.
GameStop underpays, it over expects, and you have this hanging over your head of we can fire you at any time because there are a million people who want to work at GameStop.
Yeah.
Which is true. People want to work at GameStop because it looks like it's a lot of fun, especially if you like video games, you get to work with video games all the time.
Yeah.
And that was a sweet part of the job. You get to talk to people who like the same sort of stuff you do. You get to open boxes of new games and see new games a week before they're actually out on shelves.
Right.
There's definitely some perks to the job for sure, but overall was not a great place to work.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep.
So with this move, I mean, what do you think of this making it more of like almost an arcade in some instances? Either an esports arcade or a retro arcade, or maybe a mix of both.
I mean, it's a cool idea. If they can make it work, that would be awesome. I don't have high hopes knowing GameStop that they will make it work.
Right.
It's classic GameStop corporate of throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah. And
then changing what you're throwing at the wall halfway through and complaining about this new shit not sticking when the old shit hasn't even had a chance to stick yet. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea, but like you said, I feel like you have to let it sink in. And it's going to cost money to make it happen. So it doesn't really matter how good a company r/GA is. And I will be completely honest, I have no idea who this company is.
Yeah, I've never heard of them either.
Google says that it's an advertising company, an international innovation consultancy headquartered in New York with additional offices that include Austin, LA, San Fran, Chicago, Portland, London, Berlin. So they're worldwide. That's cool. A full-service digital agency creating products, services, and communications to help grow our clients' businesses in the connected age. So
it's just a straight-up marketing business.
Yeah, it's just a marketing firm. Let's see. They've done work for the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Sonic, Samsung, Hollywood Foreign Press Association, Banana Republic, McDonald's, Ally Bank, Nike, Lego. So, I mean, they've worked with some pretty good names for sure.
Yeah.
Home Depot, Mercedes, Ubisoft, eBay.
So GameStop is throwing some pretty strong money at them then.
Yeah. And you can go to their website and click on the work, and it looks like it's just let me look at the Sonic one. This is how you Sonic. Sonic drive-in had a heritage of innovation and today remains a unique business model. As customer expectations evolved, they saw an opportunity to improve their experience through the use of technology and the development of a new digital ecosystem. With mobile ordering quickly becoming a standard for brands with the QSR category and demanded by customers, Sonic's opportunity became clear: deliver a best-in-class mobile ordering experience that reinvented the idea of delivering food at the speed of sound. So it was the press to order button, all about the speed, etc., and so on. So it looks like they had the marketing campaign for that. So I guess if you see a Sonic commercial, RGA were the people behind it.
Oh, okay. I do like the idea of a retro place to go and play old systems and stuff.
Yeah.
Sit in front of CRTVs.
Yeah.
I just don't know how GameStop's going to do that and monetize it.
Yeah.
Charge a fee to do it?
Yeah, and that's the big question. Or are they going to continue holding the product of the new and used titles and just offer this as an extension? That's the question. And at that point, you have to do it in bigger stores because some of the GameStop stores that are out there are kind of small.
Yeah.
Because they don't need that bigger retail space. But if you want gamers to come to your place to game, it's going to have to be a comfortable experience. And there's going to have to be enough hardware there to get a group of people to come in and do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this weird place in gaming where if you're going to go a little retro, there for a long while, there weren't a lot of like multiplayer games. Everything was played over. And even now, they moved from, one game being played multiplayer with your friends on a singular TV to just everything being networked together.
Yeah.
So now you have network infrastructure that you're going to have on top of a comfortable place to play, on top of on top of hardware that can handle running it all. It's a pretty bold task.
Yeah, it is.
For a company that is 25% down in revenue.
Something I'm not sure that GameStop can actually manage to do.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in them on this.
Yeah. So I guess time will tell. But onward and upward.
Onward and upward. Amazon Vice President of Public Policy Brian Huseman revealed that the tech titan keeps transcripts and voice recordings indefinitely, removing them only when the customer chooses to delete them.
Yeah.
So it records. It was already known that it records what you say to your
Alexa. Yeah.
But now it keeps them indefinitely, he said.
And that's just it. There's really no reason not to. Because if the machine is going to learn what your needs and wants are, it needs references for that, right? So there's no reason to delete that data, because if you delete it, then the learning has to happen all over again. So if you want your recordings deleted, you have to go in and you have to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Privacy aside, I understand why they're held indefinitely. Because the more data that you feed it, we were talking about Deepfake the other week, and actually Corridor Digital on YouTube, they have been playing with deepfaking actors' faces onto other actors for their YouTube videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did one of Tom Cruise, and they found a Tom Cruise lookalike actor who has been doing it for like 15 years or something like that, and he goes to public appearances as a Tom Cruise impersonator.
Yeah, I just looked them up right now.
And so they tested the deepfake stuff by putting Tom Cruise's face onto this actor who already kind of looks like Tom Cruise. And this newest video that they released, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I thought it was cool. I just watched it, but I was just going to leave it out, but perfect segues. They just released a new one where they had a guy do Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that was the one that I saw that popped up.
Yeah. So they did like a vertical cell phone found footage where they deep fake Keanu Reeves over this actor's face while a convenience store was quote unquote robbed. So now, barring the fact that, in Hollywood, you're not supposed to like replace an actor or like digitally fake an actor, that's a thing that, Back to the Future got in trouble for, right?
Oh, yeah, with Crispin Glover.
Yeah. where he got really hot and they established like rules and laws that, you know, an actor needs to be paid for their services and can't be digitally replaced or something like that.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, agreed to or whatever. I don't know. But barring that, so the deepfake, they have to run through hundreds and hundreds of iterations of the actor's face that you're going to use and then the replacement. You know, so they're taking all of the footage from the raw capture of the actors and doing thousands and thousands of iterations of different angles of Keanu's face in order to reconstruct it to put onto the actor.
Yeah.
The point of me bringing up the deepfake is the amount of data that has to be crunched in order for that to be a remotely realistic thing. So the more data that you can feed it, the more accurate it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true for your purchasing habits and all of that with Alexa. If you're okay with having an active Alexa in your home, it's going to be listening to you and it's going to be trying to run you through algorithms to see what you need, what you want, and it's going to try and sell you things. That's the whole reason it exists.
Is to sell you things.
It's to sell you things. It's not a personal assistant. It's a fucking shopping device.
Well, they have your responses are stored at Amazon headquarters or at one of their
server
facilities.
Farms,
yeah. Because they listen to it to help the Echo grow.
Right. Exactly. And they have to. It's like I said, they have to keep that data, and the more data that you feed it, the better it can help you.
Speaking on
Buying
it,
things.
Brian Huseman says, we do not store the audio of Alexa's response. However, we may still retain other records of customers' Alexa interactions, including records of actions Alexa took in response to the customer's request.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I have an Echo.
Uh-huh.
It's unplugged right now because I don't have room for it. I'm not sure where I want to put it.
Okay.
I had no problem with it privacy-wise, but I still kind of do. In a way, you know what I mean? Like I used it without any problem, but there's still part of me that was like, man, this thing's just recording everything. It's connected to the internet and just records everything constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just the thing that you have to be okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you realize that everything around you has a microphone now, your phone has a microphone, it's constantly listening to you, and don't believe for a second that it's not, because it is. I can say, okay, Google right now, and if you didn't hear it, it blinked into existence, and it's recording everything that I'm saying right now. But before that, I had to say, okay, Google to activate it. So it's constantly listening anyway. It's listening for a trigger word, but that doesn't mean that it's not recording everything that I say and putting it on a server farm right now.
Yeah, because we have become the tradable goods and services.
Yeah.
Data is where everything's at.
Yep, 100%.
Not to sound like a stoner trying to be deep, because that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Man, we
well,
are
and it sounds
merchandise.
And the problem is that when we verbalize this, it still sounds like it's some sort of futuristic thing that is impossible. But now we're really going to sound fucking hippie-ish. The future is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's happening. It exists. It's already here, and terabytes of data are being recorded every second.
Right.
So you have, like I said, you just have to be okay with that, or you have to go dark.
And going dark is not an option for most people.
No, it's really not. It's far more expensive to go dark than it is to actually not have these things and devices in your home.
Yeah. It's gone the other way.
Mm-hmm.
You can get smartphones so cheap now.
Yep.
Whereas trying to live without a smartphone, most jobs, I mean, you have to have a phone at 99% of the jobs that you have anymore.
Yep.
You have to have an internet connection.
Yep. Yep. It's a weird thing, but it
is indeed.
It is where we are at right now.
So before we go, Remington, I want to hear something about sex toys.
Okay. Is that, I mean, I can do a better segue than that if you want.
Let's see your segue.
Speaking of technology creeping all up inside you, Brandon.
Yeah. That was way better.
Yeah, it was. Apparently, reported from The Verge, CES, which, for those of you who don't know, is the Consumer Electronics Show, will be allowing sex toys to win awards and be presented on the show floor next year. A year after the convention was mired in controversy when an award was revoked from a largely woman-run and woman-focused sex toy company. Sex toys will be eligible for inclusion under the show's health and wellness section, because it's very important for you to have an orgasm. Don't anybody tell you that it's not. The Consumer Technology Association, which runs the show, says they're being included on a 1-year trial basis meant to assess how they fit into the category. In order to be included, sex toys will have to be innovative and include new or emerging tech. We don't want to see rows and rows of just standard vibrators, says Karen Chupka, who oversees CES. We don't want rows and rows of dildos.
I'm sick. I see enough of those on all of my trips.
I don't want to see 1,000 rabbits in different booths because I have one and it's just fine. Laura DiCarlo, the sex toy company that had its award revoked last year, said in a statement that it was pleased to hear ... that the CTA took our recommendations for inclusion and language updates that we drafted. The company will be on the show floor in 2020 and says it's optimistic that this is a step in the right direction. The CTA is also updating the dress code policy for CES in an attempt to further crack down on companies hiring models to wear revealing clothing as a way to bring visitors to their booths. This kind of behavior has generally been banned already, but the CTA is now adding a punishment for violators. They risk losing rank in a tenure system that helps them attain a good position on the show floor. The new rule says that companies can get in trouble for outfits that are, quote, sexually revealing or that could be interpreted as undergarments, end quote. If the clothing reveals, quote, an excess of bare skin or hugs genitalia, it will be banned as well. The guidelines apply to all staff.
Wow.
Pornography will remain banned on the show floor. The CTA says that the ban will now be strictly enforced with no exceptions, whereas some have slipped through in previous years. CES has maintained confusing policies around sex tech for years, and those rules have never seemed to be evenly enforced. Some companies, like the sex toy company Oh My Bod, have been able to find a place on the show floor for years. Others, like the porn studio Naughty America, have been able to show VR demos in private booths. But the show's policies have seemingly prohibited all of this, and it's meant that other companies interested in showing their sex-related products have been unable to represent at the enormous annual convention. This led to the bizarre situation earlier this year in which CTA initially awarded Laura DiCarlo with the CES Innovation Award in Robotics for its debut sex toy, the Ose robotic massager, only to later revoke the award because the convention's rules prohibited sex toys from being considered in the first place. There was a widespread backlash against the CTA for its decision to ban the company, particularly at a time when it's trying to increase representation of women at the show. They backtracked, they reinstated. At the time, it declined to announce new policies around the sex toys, etc., and so on. So basically, they're working to really not scare the shit out of Rem by having his chair fall backwards. So basically, now that the backlash has happened, they're trying to hone in and really dial in their rules for sexual content at CES in regard to progressive electronics.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I think that, I mean, to dissuade technology just because it can be inserted into a human whole, I think is folly.
You could not have thought of a sexier way to put that.
Yeah. And the reason why I think it's folly is because these devices not only have to be pleasurable, but they have to be safe. They have to be sterile.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be made of materials that can continue to be sterile. I mean, there's a lot of technology and thought that goes into sex toys.
Yeah, I imagine.
Far and above the fact that its primary and sole purpose is to make you come. Sorry. I told you it was going to get raunchy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think sex toys should be...
At the Consumer Electronics Show?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
I don't really have like any strong thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Except that, yeah, I mean, I'm sex positive. I'm all for more sex positivity.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Give us rows and rows of vibrators.
Well, I mean,
She doesn't want.
She doesn't want.
rows.
No, they got to be electronically and culturally
relevant.
Somehow. Yeah, an innovative product, as she said.
Oh, okay.
Emerging tech. Yeah.
Emerging tech.
Yeah. I've seen some weird devices, Brandon. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
The internet's an interesting place when it comes to sexual devices.
You're like nodding like creepy uncle as you're saying it.
It's a terrifying world we live in. All right, are you ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
If you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can make the terrible mistake of calling us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com and leave a comment on the Facebook page like these nice people. Oh, wait, the episode hasn't been out long enough for us to have any comments.
Right. No comments quite yet.
So no comments yet, but we will hit both of them for this episode, 93 and 92 on 94, with a 1 in front of all of that. 194 episodes. That's fucking mad. It's taken us a long time to get here, longer than it rightfully should have, but man, we're getting there.
Yeah, I know. We're really pumping them out.
Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com for new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Scheduled to release to the social medias. It's already out, so if you want to go to our website, you can find it. It's already published. But Mumphrey published his experience at Origins 2019.
Ooh, awesome. I didn't realize that was out.
Yep. So he published it. I just hadn't got it pushed out to our social medias yet. It's scheduled to go out tomorrow. But none of that matters because really this will be out far after the social media posts about it. So just go to the website and read it if you want to live vicariously in Origins through Mumphrey's experiences.
Which we all do. Especially after that call last week about the sandwich.
Yeah.
We all
about
do.
the love sandwich. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes because that helps to boost us higher in the cool kids list. You can find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, which is that new podcatcher app that I keep talking about. Or if you want advance access to the episodes, you can hit us up on Patreon and get that $5 love button.
Yeah.
You're going to hit our $5 love buttons, guys. This is going downhill real fast. So, can you help me dig out of a hole here, Brandon?
In what way?
I don't know. Just say something worse so I can cut you off and do the until next week Ogres thing.
So take that love button and just shove it in your mouth and swirl it around like you're having a delicious grape Slurpee. Just blah, 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 blah.
I actually didn't want to cut you off because I wanted to know where that was going. So
I was hoping you would cut me off because I didn't know where I was going.
So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night.
Gross noise.
Okay, the recording is started.
Good.
Okay. You're going to have to be my fire, Brandon. There's no more fire left in me.
I can be your hero, baby.
Don't need you to be my hero, Brandon. I need you to be my fire.
I can kiss away the pain.
I don't need kisses.
Yeah, you do.
I need the clap. It's a fire down in my crotch.
You need the crotch fire?
I
can bring the crotch fire.
Crotch fire. You'll get caught up in the crotch fire.
You added your own little stank to the end of that. That was good.
If you listen closely, it's there. There's just a lot of other riffs and stuff going on. I don't even know what that was.
That was somebody eating out a cat.
Whoa. Why did you have to go straight to eating out a cat? That's fucking gross.
It's what's on my mind. I just got off work.
What? You're a weird dude.
I just got off work and I got Subway. Where else do you expect my mind to go?
How do you get eating out a cat from Subway?
It's pretty much one step, Ram.
And here I thought we were going to avoid the raunch this episode.
We are. Just don't put this in.
I have to. Everything that gets recorded gets put in.
That's all of the raunch that we're going to have this episode. Zero raunch. No more.
Well, except for when we talk about sex toys.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have a sex toy one. But we can discuss it tactfully.
We can. I mean, it's a business venture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit yawning.
I can't. I'm sorry. I refuse.
I'm like leaned forward.
Mm-hmm.
My legs aren't crossed.
My legs are crossed. They're set up. I'm leaning back. I'm practically asleep. I even took a 5-hour energy. Part of the waiting around for this was waiting for that to kick in.
You should have smoked it.
I should have. I should have just fucking did that 8-ball that little weird guy offered me when I came out of the gas station.
Oh, sir, would you like to buy an 8-ball?
Excuse me, sir. I don't mean to pressure you into anything, but I do have 8 balls for sale. Pure 100% Colombian cocaine.
What was his name? Peasley? Phil Dankerton?
Peasley Phil Dankerton, yeah.
He's back. That's right, folks. He's back. And
I don't
better
remember.
than ever.
I don't know what Peasley's name or sounded like, though.
He was just a British guy.
Just.
Oh, I think he was a little more like this.
Everything sounds British.
I think he was a little more like this, though.
Oh, Peasley Phil Dankerton. Wait, did he go Irish?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened there? Paisley Phil Dankerton. See, it sounds more Irish than British.
Maybe he actually is Irish and he was just pretending he was British.
Maybe, I mean...
To try to throw off MI6.
Because he's part of the Irish mob.
The IRA.
Or the IRA. Either or, yeah. They're not mutually exclusive. Or they are mutually exclusive. Wait, I forget what that phrase means. Are they or are they not mutually exclusive?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Ireland. I don't even
know. No,
what
I meant the phrase
is.
mutually exclusive.
Mutually exclusive means that they're unrelated.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then, yeah, they're mutually exclusive. Or they could be. I'm sure they're crossover. I'm sorry, Brandon. All right, you ready?
Are you ready?
No. Taika Waititi. Oh, fuck my ass, really? Together, Gamestop. I said Gamestop.
Stop.
That's sexist, I'm sorry.
What, to assume that she has a sex toy?
Well, to assume that she has a rabbit. Specifically. I'm going to cut that part out.
I don't think there's anything wrong with assuming she has a rabbit.
If you want to experience Mumphrey's
experiences. Man, it really throws us off whenever we haven't recorded, just you and I.
I know, it's so weird. We are awkward together.
We are awkward together. I don't know why we chose to do a podcast together.
This was all your decision, Brandon.